Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Odom 2.0. Happy Thursday everybody. It's almost the weekend. I'm so excited. Not that I have any plans, but my newest on the way grandbaby is due tomorrow. So any day now we could be going to the hospital and welcoming a new little baby into the world. Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. He's a little boy. My 7th grandbaby. Oh my gosh, guys, I can't believe it. So, yeah, that kind of has me thinking about the topics that were in the news this week. Mainly, I don't know how many of you have heard about this, but apparently there are some people who have said they are willing to kill themselves to donate their organs to Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yes, you heard me right. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is almost 86 years old, and she has made some public appearances lately that have had people questioning her health. From what I've read, she says she's in perfect health. She works out every morning. She's still got some life in her, guys. I don't think she's going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think you should be pulling out those razor blades and ropes just yet. But I just find the whole subject completely absurd. It's almost funny if it wasn't. But I really wanted to kind of present it to you and see what you had to think about the things that people are doing these days simply to keep something like abortions legal. And I say this because I know there's no other reason why anybody is talking about this other than the fact that we have a president in office who is conservative, who is working on replacing number 2 in year number 2 of his presidency. Ruth Bader Ginsburg being, again, almost 86 years old. She has said she has at least a good 5 years under her belt. She plans on staying in her position until at least the age of 90. So, again, she doesn't feel like she's going anywhere, but apparently a lot of you feel like she probably is, and that if that is to happen, that she has you as an option. Oh, wow. So nuts. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the thinking of somebody offering up their organs, which means having to kill themselves, in order to keep somebody specific on the bench, and to also keep our president from being able to fill that seat with somebody else. The only reason I can think of is you guys are just that serious about your abortions, and y'all have just taken it to just a whole nother level of ridiculousness. I thought last week was ridiculous when you guys were going around saying you were going to abstain from sex for abortion rights. Trying to let that sink in a little bit. Every time I talk about this and I say it, it sounds more absurd than the last time, and sometimes it leaves me a little speechless. Some of you that know me are probably thinking, oh gosh, that's what it took to get you speechless. But anyway, I mean, just the absurdity of wanting to keep such a vile act legal in 2018 is absurd, okay? If you guys haven't figured out by now how not to get pregnant, if you guys have not figured out by now things that you can do to prevent a pregnancy, you, my friend, should be abstinence and should not be having any sex at all until you are properly educated and ready for the result if you are not willing to use protection before you decide to have sex. So this ridiculous notion that all you have to do is keep this woman alive long enough for President to serve out his terms, yes, terms, because he's going to win again, and that all will be right as rain. Okay, that's just not how things work, because A, we do have a system in place, and these judges have a responsibility to interpret the law as it was written, not the way they believe it was written, not based on their personal opinion of how they think it should be written, but they have to interpret the law as best as they can and make the judgment as fair as possible, not leaning on their own beliefs when doing so. So it really doesn't matter who is on the Supreme Court, as long as that person is willing to objectively look at a situation, no real heavy bias, and going on the written letter of the law, then it should be a fair court, right? And any decisions that they're asked to make, of course, it's not always a majority decision, but majority wins. And if more judges see it a certain way than another way, then the ruling goes with the majority. And that's going to happen whether Ruth is in the Supreme Court or not. There's a process in which this system works, and it starts by not coming in ready to make decisions based off of what you believe. So I don't understand this desire or this freak out to offer up your organs to a Supreme Court justice because you think she's going to uphold a ruling in the way you feel it should be upheld. That's some seriousness right there. I can't get behind that. And I will just put that disclaimer out there that I used to be very, very, very pro-choice. My body, my choice. It's just been through education and I guess just growing more mature as a person that my beliefs are not the same as when I was younger. And I believe that we have enough options for women and men alike that if a couple is that serious about not having a baby, then all the decisions that they will make will result in non-pregnancy. And if you're, going to your local health provider, your primary care physician on a regular basis, and he is very much aware of the steps and medicines that you're taking to ensure you don't get pregnant, and you do anyway, well, then that's between you and your doctor to determine the next best course of action based on previous decisions to not have a baby. So there is a place for it in the medical field. I just don't feel like there's much of a place for it in terms of just being able to walk off the street into any given clinic and getting an abortion for any given reason at any point in the pregnancy. No, that we're too far advanced, just even medically, to keep resorting back to this option when there are so many other options available to you. So while you're sitting here just losing your shit and freaking out because we have a Republican president and you think your precious abortions are going to be taken away from you, nobody's even discussing any cases that are even going to go to the Supreme Court for them to even revisit this situation. So I just don't understand why, since Trump became president, everybody started acting all crazy over their abortion rights. Quite frankly, I don't think women should have abortion rights outside of a medical condition or emergency that you take up with your primary physician. And leaving that option open that way leaves actually that as a choice that you can make depending on your situation. So, as long as it's something that can be addressed medically because of medical malfunction, like your prescription birth control not working, that's one thing. But we don't need abortion in-and-out burger type places where they're just on every corner. Planned Parenthood is everywhere, ready to give you that abortion, and you just don't need it anymore. I mean, if you're being a responsible person and a responsible parent, then you shouldn't need abortion services to begin with. So to act as if it's all in Ruth Bader Ginsburg's hands, or it's all in the Supreme Court justice's hands, this issue has been addressed. There's been a ruling on it, and it is a standing ruling that is not on the docket to be revisited or re-questioned. So put down the knives, put down the ropes, and, you know, use your time to maybe, you know, hang out with your family and go to the beach or something. It's summertime. And stop stressing over something that nobody's even worried about right now. I mean, we're barely trying to get to the confirmation of Judge Kavanaugh. So these are non-issues right now. Stop being so gross and weird about it already. I mean, y'all are willing to kill yourselves now? Y'all are taking this just way, way, way too far. And like I said, I'm expecting my 7th grandbaby at any day now. And to have this conversation right now, it's warranted. It needs to be had, because we don't need women doing horrible things to themselves for no reason. And I mean killing yourself for a judge, and I mean getting an abortion, because you absolutely don't need to get an abortion if you are making responsible decisions. So it's not all in the court's hands. It's absolutely in your hands to make certain choices that prevent you from getting pregnant before you're ready. So stop worrying about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I know some of her public appearances, she seems like she's not all there, or at least she doesn't have the energy to be there. Maybe it was too much working out before she showed up. But I think she's going to be fine for now, and I think everybody needs to stop freaking out and wigging out. And to be fair, I will say that I don't think you have Trump derangement syndrome. I think you have Republican derangement syndrome. I think you're just so scared that Republicans are going to just take all your fun stuff away. The grown-ups are going to put the little kids in their corners, that you feel like you have to rally up and show out. And it's not necessary. I won't pretend like I didn't hear Donald Trump say what he said about his views on abortions. So I do totally get the idea that you have to fight for your side. But really look at the side that you're on, and do you really feel like you're still on the same right side? Because again, I used to be completely pro-choice until I opened my eyes and started to realize the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is there's some really rotten reasons why our government likes abortion so much, and why Democrats like abortion so much, and why liberals like abortion so much. And a lot of it is population control and financial control. Because think about it, if you don't want that abortion but you just can't afford that baby, you can always get on food stamps and welfare. And who supports that more than the Democrats? Nobody. So of course you're basically trying to catch a vote. And that's not what this should be about right now. People should not be worrying themselves to suicide over abortion rights and over who is on our Supreme Court. I feel like the last 2 decisions our president made were wonderful decisions, and I can't wait to see the new judge confirmed. He better be confirmed. And see how different rulings happen over time. I'm excited for it. I'm not worried about any kind of restrictions for gays, transgenders, even abortion rights. Because again, I've not even heard of a single case anywhere near ready or available to go in front of the Supreme Court. So simmer down now, y'all. Simmer down. And get your panties out of the wad, okay? And just start enjoying life a little bit and stop worrying so much over something that nobody's even really discussing right now. When that time comes, and I'm sure it will, be there ready for, you know, to take on that fight. Because, again, if you feel that passionate about something, then yeah, you're going to fight for it. But don't kill yourself. You don't have to do that. And as far as the whole being abstinent for abortion rights is concerned, hey, I'm all for that one. You just keep on doing you, and you keep on abstaining from sex. Because as long as you're abstaining from sex, guess what? You won't need an abortion. So, that's my thought on that. I'd like to know how you guys feel about the people who said they are willing to donate their organs to Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And what you think of the whole protest of sex until there is some kind of guarantee that Roe versus Wade is not going to be reversed. Man, I can only imagine the conversations in those homes where a husband is just ready to just take his woman to town, and she says, no, you cannot have sex with me until I know abortions are protected. Well, as of right now, abortions are protected. No, I mean protected for good. I know our president and the people he appoints into the courts are not going to affect abortions. Until I know this, I'm abstaining from sex. That husband is going to go full, that's all I know, because he's basically not getting what he deserves out of his relationship with his old lady because of some crap that's not even happening right now. Y'all are too much. So, I would love to know what you guys think. Leave me a comment, a like, a dislike, subscribe, and absolutely share. I would love to have a nice little YouTube family of my own that I reach out to every day and hopefully reaches out back to me just the same. So until tomorrow, you guys have a great evening and thanks for watching, guys. Bye.